Good morning and welcome to today's Cabinet meeting. This is not a public meeting, but a meeting that the public can attend. I'm Ros Jones, Mayor of Doncaster, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's meeting. Before we commence proceedings, I would like to outline domestic arrangements for the meeting. We are not expecting a fire practice today. If the alarm sounds, please leave the building. This meeting will be recorded and published on the Council's website. By entering the Council chamber, you are accepting that you will be recorded and your images will be retained and broadcast by the Council. If anyone intends to record today's meeting, please ensure that this does not disturb the conduct of the meeting. Please ensure that your mobile phones are switched to silent mode. Thank you. I will now commence the meeting. So item 1 is apologies for absence. I believe we've got 3 apologies. That's Mark Holbrook, Debbie, and one further apology, and Rihanna. So we've got substitutes, I believe, here for them. Item 2, exclusion of the public and press. There are no items on the agenda when the public and press are to be excluded. Is that agreed? Agreed. Item 3, public statements and questions. We have a question from Mr. Wei Ming Yao, member of the public, in relation to agenda item 8, quarter 2, 24-25 finance and performance report. I understand they are unable to attend the meeting today. I will read out the question and we'll actually send him the response also. Within the strategic risks contained within the City of Doncaster Risk Register is the new appearance of Doncaster Sheffield Airport, which contains a RAG status of amber and a current score of 12. What new information does the Council hold or that has come to light that was not available in previous months, especially as we've been told that the preferred operator is an international operator with extensive experience and knowledge of the European market, and what justifies such an elevated status or RAG score of 12? So thank you for your question, Mr. Wei Ming Yao. Risk management is the process of determining barriers to achieving objectives and to identify necessary mitigation actions. Risk management is part of an effective management response and gives the airport is approaching a critical point where we go from planning to delivery. As such, it was considered an appropriate time to introduce this matter into our quarterly monitoring cycle. The RAG rating is a subjective assessment based on the likelihood and impact and a guide to support management in the range of actions required to keep the risk at a manageable level. A written copy, as I said, of the response will be sent following this meeting. We move on to item 4, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest, please? No one's indicating. I'll move on to item 5, decision records from the meeting 6th of November 2024. These have been previously circulated and are for noting. Agreed? Agreed. Item 6, Education and Skills 2030, Strategy Update and Forward Plan. I will invite Councillor Sue Farmer, Cabinet Member for Equalities, Education and Skills, to introduce the report.
Thank you, Mayor. In 2022, Cabinet approved a long-term strategy for long life learning, education and skills 2030 strategy and its vision for equitable and inclusive learning that empowers people to thrive in life and work. A year later, we approved a dedicated budget to deliver against that strategy, specifically towards our talent and innovation ecosystem model, which aims to bring the worlds of education and employment closer together through an enhanced skills offer. This report and associated papers, including the provision map and additional education provision identified, gives a great sense of the distance we have travelled on delivering our ambitions. We have made great progress, both in terms of delivery and impact, highlighted within the report, including in 2023 we became the first place to deliver Remake Learning Days festivals. So far we have delivered across 38 different areas of the city through a variety of more than 300 free and low-cost interactive and creative community learning opportunities. Delivering our first future fair for young people with SEND in partnership with education providers and businesses, and supported 500 post-16 learners. Through investing in a zero-gravity platform to support young people to access universities, we have provided all Year 12 and 13 students who engaged a mentor to support them. More than 600 pupils have signed up to the platform and are currently accessing webinars and tutorials, while more than 220 have been allocated a mentor. Through this service, we have seen an increase in the uptake of university places, including those accepting offers from Oxford universities. A separate report provides a comprehensive overview of progress with respect to educational outcomes. However, within this, provisional figures reported by the schools and colleges suggest that Level 3 outcomes show an overall improvement with an increase in uptake in applied general and T-level qualifications. The percentage of A-level students achieving AAB has more than doubled since 2019. As of September this year, 20% of schools and 99% of early year settings were good or better. These are not exhaustive, but it gives a good sense of the range of positive outcomes we have delivered for people against our education and skills strategy. From an allocation of just over 780,000, which was originally anticipated to cover 2 years, we have stretched that delivery to almost double that time frame. Also, having levered in almost the same amount, 777,000 in external grants and over performance payments. We are in an excellent position nearing the midpoint of the strategy's delivery to take forward to the next phase of transformation. We have set out our future areas of focus within the report, which build on the successes highlighted and our progress since 2021. And these have been shaped to maximise the opportunity that are presented by the unfolding national agenda under this new Labour government. I ask the Cabinet to acknowledge this excellent progress and support the next phase of delivery. Thank you.
Colleagues, anyone? Yes, Sarah.
Thanks, Chair. I just wanted to fully support and endorse this report. The progress that has been made cannot be understated. Of course, there's more work to do, but I would like to highlight over 1,300 residents have engaged in our local adult numeracy scheme named Multiply, with over 700 undertaking learning, nearly 550 accessing careers advice, and over 150 people subsequently gaining employment. I think that's amazing. Our adult and family community learning service has supported well over 3,500 people over the past 2 years, with 98% of learners achieving a pass in their chosen subject. This, I can't emphasize it enough. Education has made such a huge, it's helped me feel a huge part of my community, and I imagine this is what this will be doing for people here in Doncaster, and it'll be making such difference and opening even more opportunities for many people in our communities. And I'd encourage anyone interested to sign up. Thank you.
Glyn.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. This report today shows the journey that the Council and our partners have been on in terms of education and skills for the residents and businesses of Doncaster. Through the Apprenticeship Support and Knowledge, the ASK programme, we are increasing awareness and knowledge of apprenticeships amongst all secondary age school pupils and also teachers. In June 2024, an apprenticeship event was held in CAST, which saw 115 people attending and 17 partners providing support and apprenticeship opportunities. As a former apprentice who underwent extensive on-the-job training and college education training, I believe apprenticeships are a great way for people to learn and earn. Since 2021, we have worked with businesses to create and support over 6,000 apprenticeships across Doncaster. A commendable achievement, Chair. Thank you.
Nigel?
Thank you, Chair. I've just actually been looking up on my phone in terms of sort of like the impact that the Pathways to Work programme is actually having across South Yorkshire, which is extremely positive. I think one of the things that's really coming through in this report as well is the fact that when we look at our youth employment hubs, one based in Mexborough and one in Doncaster, that's extremely positive in terms of obviously making sure that young people can get access to sort of like employability skills. But also within that, we need to recognise that in terms of their information, advice and guidance, their IAG, we're going to have skilled careers advisors on site that's going to work with them, obviously, on a one-to-one basis to make sure that they get that integrated and individual support moving them forward in terms of what they want to do in the world of work. The report I've just read has been really, really positive, and obviously I think it's something that we'll look forward to in Doncaster, so I commend the report, Chair.
Thank you. And I'd just like to say Doncaster is making good progress with our education and skills, whether this be through our Careers Hub, working with education settings to implement high-quality career guidance, ensuring young people have access to the support they need to determine their best steps. We also continue to develop and enhance our education and skills offering here in Doncaster, whether this be through our University Technical College or our most recent training offer of national importance at the former National College for Advanced Transport and Infrastructure site on Caroline Way, as Network Rail take over site, offering apprenticeships and trainee engineering opportunities. And I'm delighted to see the progress continuing to be made on all fronts. With that, as we've got no one else indicating, I'll read out the recommendations within the report. That is 1, review the actions taken and progress made since the allocation of one-off funding for the Education and Skills Strategy, including the additional funding which has been leveraged from elsewhere. And 2, approve the skills service priorities for Phase 2 delivery of the 2030 strategy. Colleagues, is that moved? Seconded? Therefore, the recommendations are agreed. I now move on to item 7, South Yorkshire Tobacco Control Alliance. I will invite Councillor Nigel Ball, Cabinet Member for Public Health, Communities, Leisure and Culture, to introduce the report.
Thank you, Chair. Smoking remains the leading cause of preventable death in the UK. In Doncaster, 17.8% of adults still smoke, but this is above the national average of 11.6% and the regional average of 12.7% of adults smoking in this area. We have good services and support in Doncaster to help people to overcome addiction to tobacco and quit smoking. From my own perspective, you've got to look at it and think to yourself, on year, we continue to improve and reduce those rates, but they are still not in line, obviously, with the national average and certainly not the regional. There are face-to-face and online services for adults and a bespoke service for smoking in pregnancy. Doncaster School Nursing Service works with younger people to prevent smoking and regulatory services to tackle illicit tobacco and underage sales. This report proposes that City of Doncaster Council join a South Yorkshire Tobacco Control Alliance to enhance the existing local service provision and expedite the national and local ambition to be smoke-free. The report details the benefits for Doncaster residents in joining a South Yorkshire Tobacco Control Alliance. This partnership will pool a proportion of additional national funding for smoke-free generation to bring together expertise, skills and resources across the region to reduce smoking prevalence and improve public health outcomes. By joining this alliance, Doncaster will benefit through the delivery of high-quality campaigns that will drive demand for quit attempts, coordinated regional enforcement action against illicit tobacco, and new approaches to prevent and reduce smoking. I encourage everyone in Doncaster who is still smoking to give it a go and try and quit. And Cabinet are asked today to approve the recommendations in this report. Thank you, Chair.
Colleagues, any questions or statements? I think the pertinent points actually are identified in the background, and that is smoking is the UK's biggest preventable killer, causing around 1 in 4 cancer deaths and leading to 64,000 deaths per year in England. In Doncaster, around 44,000, which is 17.8% of adults, continue to smoke. And therefore, we're seeing that the harm that this creates. And data from ASH, which is Action on Smoking and Health, estimate that smoking costs Doncaster 233 million per year. Smoking is still the leading cause of preventing ill health and death, and a major driver of health inequalities. So I believe this report is essential, and I urge people to try all the things possible to actually stop smoking. And as we've seen, many young people start at a very early age. So with that, I'm going to read out the recommendations to Cabinet. And that is, approve the proposal for City of Doncaster Council to become a key partner and funder of a South Yorkshire Tobacco Alliance through the Smoke-Free Generation Grant. And 2, delegate to the Director of Public Health, in consultation with the portfolio holder for public health, communities, leisure and culture, and the Chief Financial Officer to agree the terms of and enter into the partnership agreement with Sheffield City Council, Rotherham Metropolitan Borough Council, Barnsley Metropolitan Borough Council, and South Yorkshire Integrated Partnership as outlined in the report. Colleagues, is that moved? Is it approved? Therefore, thank you, colleagues. We move on to item 8, which is Q2 Finance and Performance Improvement Report. I will invite Councillor Phil Cole, Cabinet Member for Finance, Traded Services and Planning, to introduce the report.
Thank you, Mayor. This morning I introduced the Finance and Performance Report for Q2 of this financial year, a regular part of our financial monitoring and transparency in the use of taxpayers' money. This report examines and highlights how Doncaster City Council continues to deliver good quality service and value for money services, at the same time levying the lowest council tax in South Yorkshire and one of the lowest in the country. Whilst we wait for new government funding to come through, the council is still operating in a challenging and uncertain environment as we slowly recover from too many years of underinvestment by successive Conservative governments in our communities and the services they require. The projected financial outturn position at Q2 continues to be a balanced position. That means no anticipated underspend or overspend. However, similar to the Q1 report received at this Cabinet, there remain several potential ongoing overspends, including shortfalls and income targets, which are being offset by one-off contingency budgets in 2024-25. Our key areas of overspend are as follows. Adult social care, due to a larger number of older people being supported in care homes and increased care provided to supported living clients. Children's social care, due to the number of placements and increased average costs. Waste, due to a number of factors including reduced trade waste income, increased recycling gate fees, and lower than anticipated super profit from waste disposal. And finally, homelessness, due to the additional costs within St Leger homes because of the high number of homeless placements and due to the forecast additional housing benefit costs resulting from those placements. None of these reported pressures detracts from the excellent work done by dedicated professionals across those services, especially those supporting families in distress. However, I can report that these predicted overspends can be covered by one-off contingency budgets, but in future years, the use of substantial one-off contingencies is not a sustainable approach and will be taken into consideration as we progress with the budget for 2025-26. There was some hope offered to this and other councillors in the Chancellor's October budget, which included a number of additional announcements of funding for local government and wider public services. We expect the publication of the Provisional Local Government Settlement next week, at which point we will be able to begin the detailed planning for next year's council budget. The report provides a great amount of detail and areas of improvement, but a few points to note. The Council and St Ledger Homes continue to administer the 4 successful domestic energy efficiency schemes, with 3 of these focused on our most vulnerable tenants and residents. The number of homes receiving grants and measures installed up to September is 274, and the number of energy efficiency measures was 566. Business investment into Doncaster stands at over £201 million at the end of Q2, generating new skilled jobs. This is £35 million above target, and the pipeline of new investment remains strong, with several new potential inward investors visiting Doncaster during the quarter, including Unity, Gateway East, and of course our airport. Indeed, the announcement of the lease of the airport has seen an increase in the number of aviation-related inquiries. And finally, in response to a problem that is of great concern to residents, I'm pleased to report that targets for removal of fly tipping continue to be exceeded, and I thank the staff who make this possible. We continue to push forward on key mayoral priorities, including work on reopening the airport and developing our city centre, both engines of growth in our economy. Last week, we saw the first 2XL plane return to Doncaster in over 2 years. This is yet another step forward to reopening our airport with passenger flights from spring 2026. In our city centre, we're developing a new long-term strategy for our city centre that will bring investment, jobs and change to our high streets. This will be launched in the new year. City of Doncaster Council is working with South Yorkshire Police and other partners on a range of initiatives across the city so that Doncaster is a safer place for everyone to enjoy. Mayor Ross Jones has allocated an additional £1 million to improve safety and security within the city centre, with increased neighbourhood response, enforcement and street scene resources, alongside increased police patrols and new CCTV. Mayor Ross has also allocated long-term funding to tackle rough sleeping and homelessness. This report, Mayor, shows a City Council determined to deliver safer, secure, more prosperous and resilient communities for our residents. And I'm pleased to commend this report to Cabinet. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, any comments? Yes, Sarah.
Thanks, Chair. I just wanted to take a moment to highlight that since I became a councillor in 2021, this is the best performance I've seen on this report, and especially for adult social care. The progress we've made is significant, with improvements not only over time, but within the last few quarters. For example, I've seen waiting times for occupational therapist assessments drop dramatically from when I first started, which was well over 100 days, to just 3 days today. We've also made fantastic investments in our outstanding Smile Day opportunities. That does the most incredible work and is really love service. I'm always getting shared these amazing letters that team gets about what difference it makes to people's lives in the community. And the number of carers assessment has also increased, which is great to see. And that's just scratching the surface. And while there's still room for improvement in different areas, the strides we've taken so far are a testament to the hard work and commitment of all of our teams and everyone involved So I just want to say, let's keep on building on this momentum and this great work. And I just want to say thanks to all our teams in the council and our partners for all their hard work in challenging times. Thank you.
Thank you. Phil.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Smith. I just want to echo that we are extremely grateful to all of those staff who don't settle and accept a level of performance. They continually strive to be on a journey of improvement, to change ways of working, to be more efficient, to be more responsive to the clients that have great needs that and depend on the council. And so I'm very grateful to those staff who help us make those improvements and achieve the outcomes that you referred to in the report.
I think to follow upon the great achievements, something that the public are always going on about, and that's about fly tip waste. And I'm pleased to announce that we have exceeded the target. So fly tipping waste within 7 days of cases being reported has exceeded. It is now 97% of reported cases were closed within the time frame. That is exceptional, and our staff are going above and beyond. We've actually allocated sums of monies in all the areas where we can, because we, like every other authority, have been living with austerity for 14 years, and we always seek to find innovative ways to seek to bring about improvements. So it is a big thank you for all those out there who are working so hard day in, day out to bring about improvements across our city, not just our city centres, but across our city. And I'm delighted to see that we're reporting that we can bring in a balanced budget this year. So thank you for each and every one. With that, I will read the items that we've got to cover, and that's Cabinet are asked to approve and comment on Q2 performance and financial information, including note the environments per financial procedure rules detailed at Appendix 1, Finance Profile. Notes the allocation of block budgets in the capital programme detailed in the Appendix A, Finance Profile, in accordance with the financial procedure rules, and note the inclusion of a new strategic risk around opening of the airport referred to in paragraph 173. Colleagues, is that moved? Seconded? Therefore, the recommendations are agreed. We now move on to item 9, which is St Ledger Homes of Doncaster Limited. Key performance indicators and tenant satisfaction measures. Update for Q2 and year-end 30th of September. I will invite Councillor Glyn Jones, Cabinet Member for Housing and Business, to introduce this report.
Thank you, Mayor. Colleagues, before us today we have a set of papers from St Ledger Homes which include Q2 performance against the key performance indicators set by this council for St Ledger Homes. Attached to the documents are a series of detailed benchmarking information which enables us to consider the performance of St Ledger Homes against the rest of the social housing sector across the country. Before commenting on the areas where targets were not met, I would like to mention a couple of areas for colleagues to note. Firstly, KPI 1, another exceptional performance on rent arrears where the target has been exceeded. However, St Ledgers are committed to monitoring the impact of the 53-week year for universal credit, as this may build up as the year progresses and create further pressure on the target. Secondly, for KPI 5, settled accommodation at prevention stage has continued to exceed target due to improvements in case management, resulting in a further increase in this KPI. Additionally, there has been robust performance on complaints KPIs, with all targets responding to complaints are now in target. I will address some of the areas now where targets have not been met. In relation to KPI 4, this continues to be a real pressure with demand still extremely high. Whilst KPI 4 is still below target, KPI 5 has improved significantly and is now on target and improving. I want to reiterate some of the points I've made previously. Firstly, as a council, we will continue to do all we can to assist those that are experiencing homelessness or at risk of becoming homeless. Doncaster is not unique. Every council across the country is experiencing homelessness issues. Both this council and St Ledger are doing far more than within our statutory duties, which we believe is the right thing to do. With regards to KPI 21 and the percentage of properties not meeting the decent home standard, this number has fallen considerably by over 35% from 1,002 to 647. This relates to the number of new Category 1 hazards identified through our significant stock condition programme being completed in this period. The decent homes figure will continue to be fluid as St Ledger Homes have an ambitious stock condition survey programme which will, by its nature, identify further issues that can be remedial action that can be taken. Additional resources have been identified to deal with those actions, and we continue with our future stock condition surveys, and these will be monitored by the City of Doncaster Council. I have not addressed the performance on building safety KPIs, however, it is pleasing to see these are meeting the target. In terms of tenant satisfaction measures, perception survey results, it is pleasing to report further increases in all but 2 of the indicators. The quartile results are benchmarked with all of the housing association and councils in the survey, highlighting that we are delivering good quality social housing to our tenants, exceeding the national average. This is something to be immensely proud of, considering we have the lowest social rents in South Yorkshire and one of the lowest in the country, proving that we are delivering good quality, high value for money social housing across Doncaster. With that, Chair, I thank you and commend this report.
Colleagues, any questions or statements? Well, it would be remiss of me also not to congratulate, especially as we are still living through a cost of living crisis, the percentage of current rent arrears actually within target. That's exceptional work in extremely difficult circumstances. I do move on to voids, which is a thing that I always raise and will continue to raise, because whilst ever we've got a house that's void, it means it's a home someone else hasn't got. So, and that is still in the red target. We know it's extremely challenging, and we know one compared with others, they actually fare well. But this is Doncaster. We are the city of Doncaster. We are the hope, and we want to get people in homes wherever possible. And the last one is the stage 1 and 2 complaints. Again, I am looking for improvements here. I understand the pressures. I understand the pressures of actually getting the right tradespeople in working now, as we've found when we've gone out to actually seek to employ people in our capital programmes. But it is imperative that we get these complaints down and meet the requirements of our residents. But I do commend overall the work of St Ledger Homes.
Yes, Chair, thank you. Regular discussion does take place with St Ledger on reducing the relet times for properties, and those occur on a very regular basis, and various number of initiatives over recent years have been embarked upon. Of those, I'm sure the St Ledger Chief Exec, Chris Margrave, would like to comment further on those matters. Thank you, Chair.
Absolutely, thank you, Chair. In terms of the pressures that we're seeing around voids and the continuing pressure, just to bring to Cabinet's attention, we are utilising the void service to complete all remediated actions that are coming out of the back of the acquisitions. As you know, we've had a really challenging acquisitions programme this year, really pleasing to share we've exceeded that target. and it's highly likely we'll be looking at figures around 120 properties that are acquired. Each one of those properties is required to go through the voids service. Some require a fair amount of work due to the nature of the price that we've paid for it, that will require component upgrades. However, that work is undertaken by the same people that currently work on voids, and there's no additional resource being allocated to that. I think if we continue to see the pressures and not achieve the target, one consideration for us would be additional contractor spend, which we're trying to limit, either that or moving some resource off other areas of work, which again are also under pressure. That would be the voids, the repairs service. I think just one point to note, we've undertaken a repairs excellence review of our repair service. That's now moving on to voids excellence. So we'll be doing a key-to-key review of the voids process, hopefully giving assurance that that's the most efficient voids process that we can have.
Thank you, Chris. I will now go on and read out the recommendations within the report, and that is that Cabinet notes the progress of St Ledger Homes performance and the contributions St Ledger Homes makes to supporting Doncaster Council's strategic priorities. Colleagues, is that moved? Seconded? Therefore, the recommendations are agreed. Therefore, that concludes the items of business on the agenda today. I would like to thank everyone for their attendance and input, and I will now close the meeting. Thank you.